Greetings, dear Libra. Welcome to Tifa's Tarot, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. And today we're going to go ahead and take a peek at your summer solstice and astrology and tarot reading. So just keeping in mind that summer solstice does start on June 20th and last about 2 days until the 22nd, and it signifies the longest days of the year. It also coincides with the beginning of Cancer season. And if we understand the modality of Cancer, which is a cardinal energy, right, which is very energetic and very self-starting and takes a lot of initiative to things, right? And that's really what Cancer season signifies, is the beginning of the peak of summer, right? And so we have the longest amount of daylight in the northern hemisphere, meaning that there's just more light, right? There's more light within our day, and so that really just encourages us collectively to just be outside a little bit more. We're out there. It's hot girl summer, like there's where all of this business comes from, right? But it just signifies a time where there's just a lot more gatherings and a lot more time and light out there for us to be a little bit more socially active, or just active in general, right? Because light does bring about energy. Okay. So keeping in mind that this summer months are from June 20th or 22nd until that spring equinox that happens on September 22nd, that where fall time comes in. Did I say spring or fall? Anyway, the fall equinox happens on September 22nd. And so, different cultures all around the world celebrate the solstice, especially the summer solstice. And it's really just seen as the celebration of when the sun comes to his like peak power. So it's seen as a time of abundance and fertility, right? So this is just going to be for you, dear Libras, okay? And for today's deck, I am using the Brotherhood of Light Egyptian Tarot. And I thought it was significant just because we are talking about the summer solstice, so there is just more light accessible to us. And then the Egyptian Tarot, because back in the ancient Kemets actually celebrated their New Year's was during the summer solstice, right? So that's one of the many cultures that has very significant history in regards to this time of the year, all right? So this is going to be a theme summer solstice read for you, dear Libras. All right, let's go ahead and set the intention that this is for you, dear Libra. So if you are a Libra, and perhaps it's in your sun, your moon, or your rising, it is my sincerest intention that this reading may resonate with you in some capacity and that you're able to receive these messages and apply them to your own life, always and only for your highest good, okay? So our first question that we were looking at, Libra, has to do with where you need to focus your energy during these long days of summer. There is an expectation of there. I would say, like on a spiritual level, there is an expectation of being able to really get some things done during the summer, because significant, like if you think about it, symbolically, right, we are experiencing more light. So let's see where you should focus your energy during these long days of summer. Where should Libra focus their energy during these long days of summer? All right, so we've got the Four of Pentacles. It did come in the reverse, so I'm going to keep it like that. So Four of Pentacles, this is something about your income, like needing to be like a little bit more frugal, like taking, like honestly, like redo something with your budget here. There are some warnings here about your budget or needing to really just sit tight on some things. You've got the Two of Swords, okay? That definitely talks about a decision that needs to be made, right? And you also have this Five of Cups. All right. So I don't know, Libra, it seems like there is perhaps like the summer comes with this expectation that you were going to just have plans that maybe you couldn't do, and maybe those plans were not able to be executed because there's something here to do with your finances or needing to really prioritize like how you're spending what you have, okay? And so I feel like a decision perhaps was made here that kind of made you a little disappointed, like you have like a grievance right now, okay? And so the question was where to focus your energy during this long days. Honestly, despite the disappointment of how you may feel, um, in regards to like just not being kind of like where you'd like to be are doing what you'd really like to do. I feel like there's something else you'd much rather be doing, but there's something here about like resources that are available to you, or just possibilities like seem like a little bit limited. Okay. And so I do feel that there's something here about you being upset about that. But honestly, this Two of Swords really wants you, when we do have these curveballs that happen in our lives, and we have like these slight disappointments or changes of plans. Two of Swords wants you to be able to like, okay, well, what is next? Like, think about an option two. So now that you can't do this, think about like what are more some more perhaps like pertinent things that you can be doing. Like, what could you spend your time or your resources doing at this moment? So what do you need to weed out in order to grow? Okay, so this is for Libra. What does Libra need to weed out in order to grow? Oh, that was messy. Oh, Lord. 1 second, Libra. Hold on. Those cards were a mess. All right, so what does Libra need to weed out in order to grow? All right. So we've got the Justice card. We've got the Magician. And we'll pull one more to kind of complete. All right. And we've got the King of Pentacles. Yeah. Honestly, like Libra, your money is not right. There's something about your resources that really is demanding you to kind of look into it. All right. And there's something about bringing justice into your situation. Justice. And so justice really wants you to examine cause and effect. Look at the cause and effect of why, of what has led you to be in this particular situation. So once you really like pay attention to that, you're able to get to a point where you can like level it out by addressing the actual core issue, as if to why we're needing to be so frugal, or why we're needing to or why we're feeling like we're in lack of in some way, or just feeling like we need to hold back. Okay. So there's something here to address to really like balance out that issue. Okay. And I feel like being able to do that, like, this is really being, the Magician here is resourceful, and it's resourceful in a way where it uses its, the resources that are available that it has in its possession, and changes that into something else. Right. So, what that could look like, okay, and it does have something to do also with this King of Pentacles. Now, King of Pentacles is about like mastering your skill set, in a way that where you ultimately are, building up a like a resource egg, right? Like you're feeling good about your and comfortable in your financial state. But this happens as a result of like you needing to bring justice, you needing to bring balance, or addressing a certain narrative or a certain behavior that's causing you to be in this spirit of lack, right? Or just feeling like you don't have enough, or feeling like you just need to stay in or stay close to yourself, okay? And that is something to kind of look at and to pay attention to. And with that Magician, now this is like upping the ante in the sense where it's asking you to really, well, what can you do from here, right? So be resourceful about what you already have, and how can you, like uplift that or change that. So what that could look like is applying like a certain service or a skill that you have, uh, and perhaps making money from that, right? Like getting into this energy of this, like, well, you know, if my job isn't paying me enough, then what is my next? Then what is something else that I can create or produce that I already have, right, in my back pocket, in which I can put out there that's going to level me up, right? Financially. So this is what I'm seeing for Libra in terms of like what you need to weed out. Okay. So the weeding out, I think, is more in terms of like getting rid of bringing balance to yourself, addressing why we're here. Okay. And that's really the choice that you have to make here. Because I do feel that you are energetically a little bit down about your current situation in regards to where you are just financially, just not feeling quite that safe, okay? Or quite that stable. All right, so what new opportunities may arise for you, dear Libra? What new opportunities may arise for Libra? Ooh. applies, there's some type of wisdom that you have, and maybe there's something here about if you are lacking in your finances at this time. Wow. If you are lacking in your finances at this time, there's something here about you needing to actually isolate a little bit. The hermit really wants you to withdraw and to spend a little bit more time with yourself. And I feel like within when we have this hermit energy, it forces us to kind of come to terms with ourselves, to listen to those quiet voices in our head that we just kind of ignore when we're, out with people, when we're, you know, out doing things that aren't necessarily the best for us, but when it's fun, that's not when you're accessing the hermit. The hermit is accessed through those quiet times alone, and those uncomfortable confrontations that we have with ourselves, about our reality, and thinking of applying wisdom of where we are to like where we'd like to be. And you also got two very powerful cards here. Like there's something, and this is coming up in your opportunities. So there is that I'm seeing, like you've manifested a time where you are going to be spending quite a bit of time, really just like in solitude and paying attention to yourself. And I feel like as a result of that, you've got the death, and you also have the moon here. Okay, the moon is about, there's something hidden. So I don't know if you're just not, like you could be on a conscious level, not totally aware of what you have to offer that could be worth more if you just applied yourself in some way. Okay. um but the moon, because the moon talks about things being unseen, so there's something unseen here. But the moon also really wants you to like use your intuition a little bit more and pay attention to those gut feelings, pay attention to like those talents and those gifts that are hidden in the dark, right? Like what are you keeping hidden that could possibly benefit you in some way? And I feel like when you do, the death card, um and the death card charges in with this energy of like life as you know it, as it has been for this time and this moment, really needs to end, and is ushers in a new change or a transformation, because death isn't the end of anything, is the transformation from one state of being into another. Okay. And so I feel like those are opportunities that come to you, and they come to you as a result, like really try to spend some time alone. And in that time alone, when you're journaling, like don't just doom scroll or watch, binge watch Netflix and Hulu and stuff. Like your best bet is honestly to just spend a little bit more reflective time, doing things that are free, like going out in nature, spending time alone, I don't know, journaling, meditating, just doing, having moments like this, like just etching out some time in your life where you can spend some time to yourself and paying attention to your internal needs at this in this moment. So those are the opportunities that do arise when you spend a little time alone. All right, so next, what should you be exploring? So let's see, what should our Libras be exploring? Okay, you've got the Five of Swords, and it did also come out in the reverse, and we'll talk about that. Okay, you've got the Five of Swords. You have the Six of Swords. Beautiful. Don't let that seven come out. And you've got the Hierophant. Essentially, what I'm seeing is like there's something here about mental conflict here, or perhaps coming out of that. Five of Swords is can sometimes be conflict with others, like having like tense discussions, like where things can get a little bit combative. And if it's not necessarily with other people, it could be just you wrestling within your own mind, where you're like, well, should I, shouldn't I, like playing devil's advocate with yourself in some way. Okay. And so I think this is important because without this kind of restless energy, this restless kind of mental energy, you there's something here about you needing to transition, you needing to like kind of, I don't want to say like fight these demons, but it's ultimately like have these important conflicting conversations, and important and maybe even like thought provoking conversations within yourself, in order for you to really transition out of this phase that you're in. Okay, because Six of Swords does talk about, one journey to another. Now, Six of Swords can also mean a journey, so to speak. So, what kind of, are there like places that you can go? Like maybe a change of scenery could really help you to sort some things out as well. And then you've got the five, or I'm sorry, well, this is the Hierophant. Okay. So, I don't know. Hierophant talks about commitment. Generally or typically, I think about it as like the marriage card. But if it's not pertaining to an actual committed partnership, this could really be you committing to a course of study, or um, there's something here about like leveling up your existing skills and like applying that to something else here, because Hierophant really does want you to go about things in a conventional way, like arm yourself with the knowledge and the expertise to follow a certain route. Okay. And maybe that's what the journey is. And maybe you are like, maybe you want to go back to school, right? And you're just like, I don't, there's no money for it. I just don't know. Like, and so you're going kind of back and forth, but it's like, it is a journey that's necessary to take. And it's like you want to commit to a certain course of study. This is what I'm going to say, or an application of the skill. Okay, that's going to take some time for you to develop. Now, finally, how can you live in alignment with the energies of the summer? How can Libras? Whoa. Okay. All right, Libra. All right. Mm. So the first thing I saw to come out was this Wheel of Fortune. And this is Wheel of Fortune wants you to take a chance. Don't necessarily, you don't always have to do the predictable thing. Like take a chance to do something that's a little bit off, out of your comfort zone, so to speak. Okay, and also like while you're there, because I am seeing that you are a little bit upset with your current situation or feeling like somewhat disappointed. So there's something here about adding a little bit of like childlike wonder. Like Page of Cups is just, you like talk positively to yourself, be optimistic, put yourself in activities or with around people that you can be like your playful self with in some way. Okay. Um, there's also something here about perhaps a collaboration, so to speak. Okay, like making sure that you are showing up, but perhaps not in the same way like you always have in the past. The Six of Cups did come out and was in the reverse position, but in the upright is just having like a lot of nostalgia for like your past, even your past childhood, but doesn't have to go back that far. It's just being in a heart alignment with your past in some way. And then the reverse is just like, well, maybe get over that. Okay. So I don't know. There's could be something also significant, like taking a chance about who are the people that you're collaborating with, okay? And are you like seeing, are you viewing people that you collaborate with in under rose-colored glasses? Are you just assuming that they mean no harm or no foul? But maybe there's something here around this time or this season where there are some things that kind of exposed to you. And so that's why it's also very important for you to spend that time alone during this period of time. And I don't really think for a lot of the Libras I'm connecting to, there's not a whole lot of funds available to be like just out. So you are like reserving yourself a little bit more. Okay. And it does kind of like put you in this energy of like just spending a lot of time alone and just like developing like yourself. But I'm seeing there's living in alignment is going to require you to really just like take a chance though. Take a chance on maximizing your alone time and maybe even like committing to something that you really would like to continue doing, or want to start doing. But you need to take a chance with that and be optimistic about it. Okay. So anyway, that's what I got. I hope this made sense and I hope this was helpful. So please do comment, like, subscribe for additional content. My name is Tifa. I do tarot. And if you like the way that I read tarot, please feel free to consider booking me for a reading. You can find more information in the description of this video. I love you, dear Libras, and I hope you have a beautiful day and a wonderful summer solstice. Bye.